and have it streamed. Let's go! Now, how do I tell my mother that I am not at Cape Cod, but I actually drove down to New Jersey during Corona because she was...
All right, well, let's see if this is working now. Hopefully you guys can hear us. Give us feedback. Let us know that the stream is working, in fact, and that you guys can hear. So I am Edward Uhler here. You guys probably know me from Heavy Cardboard. Happy to be joined by a good friend of mine, Ethan Yau, Rampage Poker.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, hey.
On the stream, so it all works now. So
yeah, hopefully, folks, yay. All right, hopefully, all right. Yeah, all right. Hey, all right. We're working. Good. Whew. Yeah. So running 2 channels, harder than running 1. Who'd have thunk it? Who knew, right? All right. So, yeah. So I'm your host, Edward Uhler. You guys may or may not know Ethan Yau of Rampage Poker, a fellow small stakes poker player who binked a WSOP bracelet not too long ago, which is pretty insane. I mean, legitimately surreal.
Very much so. Yeah, absolutely crazy. I still don't think it's hit me yet after about a week or 2, but once the bracelet comes, I'll be like, wow.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, dude,
here we are.
I can't wait to see it.
Me neither. I've seen some pictures of other people, but seeing it in real life is probably going to be crazy. I'll have to record that, put that on a video somewhere.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, I've always joked because, you know, for as long as we've been playing poker, people usually dream of WSOP bracelets and, you know, what they would do and this and that, et cetera, et cetera.
Big time.
But I always joked that, you know what, like I would have it under a shirt when I was out grinding or whatever, and somebody, like you make maybe a bad call or you do something a little unorthodox, and they're just blah, 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 right? And all you do is like,
hey, bud.
Hey, what's up?
Just quick
That's awesome.
You certainly get those characters at the 1-3 streets for
Oh,
sure.
oh God. Yes. Oh, it's I mean, I played as high as 10-20 back in the day, and you get it. It's funny. The lower the stakes, the more you get that.
Oh, 100. Yeah, it's so weird. On a nice Friday, Saturday night, drinks are out, they're having a good time, and you get those characters. It'll be cool to flex on them maybe. Put them in their place real quick.
So give folks a little bit of background. So who is Ethan? Like, how'd you get started in poker to begin with?
So I'm 22. I just graduated college last May. So poker-wise, I've been playing for about 2 years now, maybe 2.5 years. I got into it because one of my buddies from school was into poker, and we lived about 2 hours away from a casino, our local casino, which I'm actually now banned from, but
we'll get into that.
Yeah. So 2 hours away from the local casino from where I went to school. And he offered to take the drive down, and I was like, I don't even know what this is. But as someone who like really liked sports betting at the time, it was around the gambling scene, and I was just like, sure, like, what am I going to say no to a new experience? So we took that drive, and on the drive down, I was literally just asking him, like, what are the rules? How does this work? How does the button work?
This is insane to me. That's awesome. And, okay, all right.
Yeah, so my first time playing live, I literally had no idea. So I sat down, played 1-2. Had $500 in cash with me, and I lost that one in like maybe 30 minutes. 30 minutes might be a little generous, probably less than that, but 2 buy-ins down the drain. And I went up to my buddy and was like, I'm out. What do we do now? We just drove 2 hours. So obviously he was going to keep on playing. I learned very quickly, you don't just carpool with someone when you play poker, because that's going to happen.
Both directions. Either they want to leave too early or you want to leave too early, right?
Seriously, it's like not a fun time for either, because I wanted to leave because I already lost my $500, and he was like, he actually knew what he was doing and actually played poker, so he like was grinding it out. And I thought like I waited there for way too long. I think I stayed there for like another 3 hours, tried to play blackjack or whatever, but I didn't want to play poker anymore. I just got absolutely crushed. But I remember like taking away from that trip, I thought I'm either going to try to get good at this game because I know you can at least like there's like skill involved. I was aware that you can actually beat other people because you're playing against other people, not the host, all that fun stuff. And I was either going to try to get good or never play again. So I went on YouTube, watched some of the vloggers, learned like terminology that I didn't know, had to Google a lot of stuff while watching like Andrew Neeme and Brad Owens vlogs. Those two were the first that I looked up. Then like Jamin and Johnny Vibes were like the main four that I really just kind of just started binge watching all of their videos. And then all of a sudden I knew that I could make videos. I knew it was like a growing niche sort of in the YouTube space. So I thought, hey, why not just like I know how to make videos. I've tried before. YouTube comments never failed in terms of giving feedback. So
oh boy, dude, ain't that the truth?
That I knew. So I figured maybe I'll try to learn by making videos. Gave it a shot. I think like one of my first 5 sessions I ever played live, I put out there as my first video, and that's real cringy. I watched that back a few months ago, and that was pretty awful. But yeah, that was kind of my, I guess, introduction into poker. So I started making videos, wanted to learn.
So you went about this backwards. Like you knew how to do. A lot of people, oh, I play poker, I want to vlog. You were like, I think I know how to vlog. I'll try and learn to play poker.
Yeah, a little bit like that. I knew how to make videos. I knew how to edit to a certain degree. So it was worth a shot. I was in college. It was like, like I like YouTube a lot. I love making videos. I just didn't know what to make videos on. And here came poker. Here came me losing a lot in the beginning, but showcasing everything. And the comment section really helped a ton. Super harsh, super critical, but it's what I needed to hear. And slowly along the way, we kind of improved and worked on it.
So, okay, well, man, there's so much to unpack here. First off, screw you for making me feel ancient, by the way. 22 years old, and you started learning with, like, I'd already, let's not get into that. But, so, okay, let's start with the 1-3, the 1-2-1-3 games, because you and I met playing at Boston Encore. Or Encore Boston Harbor here in the Boston area back
RIP.
In
RIP the poker room.
Yeah, seriously. So that was June or July of last year. And
Summertime, 2019.
And so you and I actually, we probably played against each other playing 1-3 or 2-5 before I realized that you had a vlog, and then I saw it and I was like, hey, Ethan, and I introduced myself. I run this, board game channel, this and that, and you and I just became friends via that. But how have you learned? How's the learning experience been? Learning poker, and I mean, I've seen you take shots all the way up to 5-10 now, and inside of 2 years. So talk a little bit about like how that evolution's gone.
Learning was interesting. Like I didn't know. So I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos. Some like Doug Polk stuff, and they all talked about like studying, and especially like watching some of Jonathan Little's videos too. They're like, you gotta study, and like I never knew what studying meant. Even now to this day, I don't really think there's a concrete definition of what studying, because everyone learns a different way. But in terms of myself and how I like got better learning from not knowing how the button works to being decent at like low stakes cash, it really all came from just getting feedback from a bunch of different perspectives and then like gathering it all together. So, I mean, each of my videos would have a bunch of different comments from a bunch of different people who would say, this was great, this was wrong, and they'd all like differ and argue in different viewpoints. So it was just like trying to gather like all of that, cipher through all the different opinions people had about my play, and then kind of just lean towards what I thought was best, and then just I try it out.
What felt right. Then.
Yeah, what felt right, and then like I try to experiment with a lot of things, especially early on, and if it worked, it's like, oh, okay, maybe we'll keep doing that, and go from there. It was really trial and error. So, I mean, I was lucky to have a few people that that was kind of like guiding me through the game. Like I would hit them up specifically about certain hands and get feedback, and I learned a lot through them. So that was nice to have a few people in my inner circle that could give me like honest advice that I could go towards. And then another thing was like I joined Johnny Vibe's like Facebook group, and they would have constantly people just posting hand histories and then them getting feedback on it. So I remember I'd spend like a bunch of my nights just reading through Facebook posts about other people's hands, see how they played it, see what the feedback was, and just learning from what other people thought about the game. Because the whole point is you're just trying to beat other people. So if you kind of get a decent grasp of how other people play the game, you can kind of try to tune your way and navigate out how to like exploit different tendencies.
See, and it's really interesting to hear this because I hear, like, I know that Nimi and Brad, they have like a site that, or a forum that they use that people can post hands in, this and that. And I always found this stuff weird. And you're talking about Johnny Vibes' Facebook group. It always struck me as like, am I just old at this point? Because for me, cutting my teeth back in, the early 2000s, I guess, it was all 2+2. And everybody posting over on the forum over there and posting hands. And to be honest with you, that's how I ended up getting started as well, was posting hands there and then meeting other regs. And then we would get into like study sessions, like we would team viewer our sessions or record it, and then we would go over various hands as a group of 50 NL 6 max grinders. There were like 6 of us, and that's how we did it. So it's interesting to hear how things have, I guess, morphed away from that somewhat, it seems.
I've never really looked at the 2+2 forums, but I hear that's still like a very popular thing going on right now. Like 2+2 and Reddit. I feel like Reddit's like another forum kind of site where a lot of the poker community is at, and they post a lot, and there's a lot of back and forth going on there, which is really cool. But yeah, I heard a lot of people like meet up and get into Skype calls like this with other people from 2+2 and kind of just grind it out like that too.
Oh, and again, I mean, these are, I mean, it's your competitors, but it's also, you're trying to help one another for the simple fact that everybody wants to move up, right? Because when you move up, you make more money, et cetera, et cetera. So you said you've been, I mean, the YouTube comments, how have you found that? How have you, especially being new to this, whether it's the poker world or YouTube, whatever, how have you found your way to navigate? I mean, there's a reason people say don't read the comments, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I had this certain expectation. So I ran a YouTube channel before. It was like gaming, mobile gaming based, and I got a good glimpse as to like how anonymous people speak online and over the internet, especially YouTube comments. So it's like I knew what I was getting into, but also, especially we're talking about very, very beginning, first few videos, like I just took that all with, I like really just took it to heart, where I feel like I got a lot of value from all of the comments, no matter what they were, even if like, I know everyone claims to be like a poker pro, most of them online, where they're all kind of trolls, but I really took a lot of value from it because my baseline was 0 and I had to get somewhere. But I mean, as I progressed throughout posting videos, then I would take a few with a grain of salt and like just get their viewpoint, which is still nice. The people who still are just like trolling on YouTube, it's still like good to get that feedback just to know. So I don't know. Yeah, like it doesn't, I don't know. All the negative and positive comments are very neutral to me. Like I just kind of take it all as some sort of value because you're getting feedback from a person that watches your videos regardless.
That's a really interesting take on that, and it's a good way to stay unemotional about it, and also to make lemonade out of lemons, I guess, to be able to derive value regardless of what the intent of the poster was.
Yeah. Like I remember last summer, so many negative comments, but it's like what I'm doing's working for me, but I see how you guys like see the game and see how you see how I play. So it's just valuable insight regardless. So I don't know. I thought it was super helpful.
And I find you had talked about learning how other people play. I mean, honestly, you can take a lot of this information that people are volunteering to you, right? And, oh, you're an idiot, or, oh, hey, great play, or whatever it is in either direction, and help you form a basis on how to be exploitive to other players as well.
Yeah, I would I remember there was a stretch, one specific stretch last summer where Encore kind of just opened up. I couldn't get a single bluff through. It was like a whole week of me on a massive downswing at 1-3. I got called every time. It was like just crazy getting called by like fourth pair, all three streets. I was like, I can't get this through at all. Then you like adjust, and then like I get like it was like the same thing for the last like after that, but it was more so value instead of bluffing every single hand. Which,
Yeah, one thing I
something I
found,
tend
I
to do.
mean, at the small stakes, at 1-3 and 2-5, bluff less and value bet until their eyes bleed.
Basically, yeah. But I learned that the hard way, but still finally got there.
Because bluffing's fun. Because
So much fun.
when you get away with it, it's
Oh, it's amazing. You feel like you just stole the pot, which you did.
exactly, and that's why people bluff, right? Because
There's
I mean,
nothing more exhilarating putting like $200 in the pot and just being like, please fold, please fold,
I,
please fold.
right, I have the nuts, fold. Really, I have the nuts. Please, God, fold, please. Okay, so how have you found grinding though? I mean, you start so here at Boston at Encore. It's 1-3 game, $300 max buy-in, which I have found really frustrating at times, especially when you get stuck. Only being able to buy in for 300 instead of like whether it's match the biggest stack
Yeah.
at the table or like a $500 buy-in. How have you found grinding up here in the Northeast in general?
Not bad. So I guess like the first casino I really played at and grinded heavily was MGM Springfield. Their 1-2 was amazing, $500 max. The action was amazing, deeper stacks. It was great. Maybe not as great bankroll wise because I was still in college, but whatever. We made through it. We got out of there alive, and then I go back home. Encore opens up that summer, 2019,
Yep.
and 100 big blind max. It was a real transition. I would be in every single session. I'd be in for like 3 binds. It was absolutely ridiculous. But like just not being able to reload to where you want to was a bit of a transition. But also it was helpful because, like I said, I just recently graduated college. It's not like I have a bunch of money to my name, so a little bit helpful in terms of the bankroll, but it helped me put things in perspective when I started doing this bankroll challenge. I tried to turn this like $1,000 buy-in into 10,000. It took me like 6 months to get there, but mainly grinding 1-3. That kind of helped put some like discipline to like, let's not punt off this money. Let's try to like adjust to a smaller game, and go from there. So I don't know. I liked Encore to a certain degree. I thought like the games were really good.
Oh, the 1-3 at Encore. I'll be honest, I didn't find a real need to play the 2-5 game because the 2-5 game, the players are better,
Yeah.
and I was making arguably more money at 1-3 than I was at 2-5. Just it's not unheard of to have a $2,500 stack at 1-3, even though it's
Right.
a $300 max buy-in.
It's crazy. It's like late night 1-3, like around 1-2 a.m. Stacks get massive for a $300 max, and you're just basically playing 2-5,
Yeah.
regardless of the night.
And so now you've been playing at Boston Billiards, which it's a little bit strange. Has a 1-2 game, a 1-3 game, a 2-5 game, and the occasional 5-10. But
Yeah.
how have you found the games up there?
They're fun. So I'm at the point where after quarantine, I was really trying to see if I can be profitable playing 2-5. It's really just like a personal experiment to see if I can move up in stakes. So 6-handed at the beginning, there's always some sort of like adjustment period. So I did horribly the first few sessions. But,
Why?
I was rusty, not playing live poker for 3 months. Although everyone else didn't play live poker for 3 months, I just didn't have a clue what I was doing for the first 5-ish sessions. And then you kind of adjust, playing 6-handed. I used to play a lot of 6-handed online, like when I was at school. That was on one of those apps. It was only 6-handed max. So going back to those days, it was a lot of fun being an aggressive, loose player. And now it's going well, I would say, after adjusting. The games are really good. They're running a lot more 5-10, and I'm gonna take shots here and there. Recently, I most recently, I played 510 about earlier this week. It was against another bracelet winner, like Chase Bianchi, I think is his name. He's like a crusher. He was like a real crusher at Encore. He's like an actual good player. So being at a table against him, I was like, all right, I'm gonna like just navigate around this. But he would put people in tough spots. But that was really interesting to play against him because he's like an actual crusher, like a legitimate.
So
like he will eat your face off. In a
So
poker
okay,
table.
so why do you think that is? So it's fascinating to me because you only have a couple years experience playing poker, and I don't get a chance to talk to players that take it seriously like you do, that are still brand new, relatively speaking, to this hobby, call it.
Yeah.
What do you think separates? Where do you think you've grown? What do you think separates you from where you were to now? Okay, you feel like you're beating 1-3 pretty well. What gives you the confidence to be able to move up to a 2-5 or play against what you consider these crushers?
I think I'm not entirely sure, but I think one thing I would say that just comes to mind is that I'm just super transparent about all the mistakes I make, and just posting online and just getting that feedback and just taking the feedback seriously and kind of putting it back into my game. Like I punt a lot and I know that. And so I'm trying to like like my natural, I don't know, I would say, yeah, I guess like me naturally, I punt so much. It's crazy. Whenever I'm bored, I will do something stupid. I'll 3-bet 6-9 suited. That all happens and it's so dumb.
Well, it's
But
better to 3-bet it than call a 3-bet with it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, at least
Yeah.
there's that, right?
Right. And then it's like I just know I know most of my weaknesses, and people are obviously very quick to point them out. So at least I'm very aware of them, because I'll be super transparent about it. So because I get all that feedback, I just know like what I struggle with, and from there you slowly fix those leaks along the way after making them for the 10th time or whatever, and then you learn.
So,
And I
okay,
think-
so let's face it, every single person out there, myself included, gets bored at a poker table and does some stupid stuff, right?
Yeah.
So how are you combating that? Like, how are you fighting that off? How are you fighting your inner, devil on your shoulder? Like, you know what? I'm going to play this hand blind. They don't know that, but I'm just going to basically to entertain yourself a little bit. How do you keep that discipline? How are you installing that discipline into you? How are you fighting that off?
So one of the main things is so I just don't embarrass myself, because I do record every single hand I play and I do publish it all. Some of it is just like, I'm not doing this because I would
Fear.
absolutely get roasted online.
Hey, whatever
that
works
helps a
though,
lot.
right?
And then secondly, I play really short sessions. Especially now 6-handed, you see a lot more hands, and I get tired after like 4 or 5 hours, and after that it's like, I'm good. I have enough hands to talk about for this video and make it entertaining. So after that, it's like I feel like I'm just not playing great anymore.
So you're a little bit more in tune with, hey, you know what? No, I'm starting to wander. Yep, time to wrap it up.
A little bit, yeah. Or just like, I've been here for a while. I have an hour drive back home. We're gonna call this here. Happy with how things are going so far, or whatever. And then
Okay, so let me investigate, or let me dig into that a little bit. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I go and play, even I'm not right now because of quarantine, and I have folks. Long story long, I can't yet.
Yep.
You can. I'm jealous. But even so, do you find yourself getting, I guess, amped up and overeager to be able to go and play poker? And so you are, because you mentioned earlier that you had a tendency to punt too much too early and always climbing yourself out of a hole. And so do you find yourself overeager about that?
Yeah.
And how are you combating that, coupled with when do you know it's time to go?
So I think that's been an issue always which is crazy. Looking back into Encore, like I would literally be on my second $300 buy-in at 1-3, like within the first 10 minutes. It was crazy. It was like almost constant. I remember I talked about it in like some of the intros where like I just have this anxiety of when I was walking through the garage going up the elevator, like I was just super excited to play, super jittery, super jumpy, want to hop in and get on the action. And that still kind of carried over now, post quarantine, where like I think I had like a 5 video stretch where I literally lost my entire stack in the first hand, or something like that. So that still happens. I don't, in terms of combating it, I'd love some tips because I don't know yet. Something about just still being super excited, trying to be super aggressive, and just be super bluff heavy in the first few hands. I don't know what it is. And I'd love to know how.
It's funny because this is honest to God, probably my biggest leak, I think, myself as well, is I find myself, even if let's say I wasn't hosting Heavy Cardboard for a week. I took a week off and basically a week vacation, and I was going to go play poker every day that week. I still find myself super amped up and super like, I don't want to waste time going to get a bite to eat first. I want to hurry up and get to the table, even though the casino is 20, 25 minutes away from me. It's not like it's, far and I can go every day. So chill. But I found myself doing the exact same thing. Like, nah, I'll eat later. And, not getting enough sleep, not getting enough food, put you in the wrong mental place. And then you're not playing at your best.
Yeah,
so
you punt off of the first 10 minutes, and then for the next 4 hours, you're trying to climb back from
just to get back to zero.
Like,
and same. And I finally got to the point to where I realized I was doing the exact same thing that you're talking about, that basically the first 30 minutes that I'm sitting at a poker table, I was punting a buy-in almost without fail. And then even if I have a good session, I can't help but think, well, it could have been another buy-in more had I not been an idiot to begin with, right? And what I have found is this is going to sound really stupid and it's kind of embarrassing, but I imagine if you're struggling with it and I'm struggling with it, a lot of people out there are struggling with this. And what I've found is I made it a game to myself. I've turned it into a reward system. Here, have an M&M. Not literally, but figuratively. I have rewarded myself. And basically what it is when I sit down, I set a 30-minute timer on my phone. And I will give myself a treat at the end of a session. I will mentally, and I realize this sounds totally stupid, but I will give myself a reward. Maybe it's going to Mike's Roast Beef to go get a roast beef sandwich at the end of a session at Encore or whatever it is. If I can successfully fold every single hand in the first 30 minutes that isn't an obvious hand that I should be playing, right?
Right.
So if I get pocket nines or, I get, ace king, I get anything reasonable that obviously I'm going to come in for a raise, whatever, and play it smart, that's an exception. But, that suited two gapper, under the gun that I'm chomping at the bit to play, no, you know what? I want that roast beef sandwich and toss it. And I try and do that until my timer goes off. And usually by the time, before that timer goes off, no one knows what the alarm's for, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. Once that timer goes off, then usually by then I'm already I've kind of gotten that adrenaline rush out and I'm just comfortable and I'm talking, I'm being me at the poker table. And once that happens, then I can get into actually playing and I'm in the right mindset. I haven't found a better fix for that.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, people in my chat, in my comments are just like, literally fold every hand for the first 30 minutes. Doesn't care what it is, fold it.
I mean, like I said, I mean,
I like that works.
That's
your
what
system works. It seems. I feel like I should definitely try that.
I mean, it sounds kind of stupid and it's kind of embarrassing to put it out there, but at the same time, I imagine people are struggling with this. And I have found that that is by far, not even close, the biggest leak I have in my game. I'm not some huge crusher. Yes, I used to play poker for a living, but right now I'm a rec player. I play 1-3 and 2-5. You know what I mean? And so I'm no different than millions of others out there, except I do think that I have a skill advantage at the levels I play. But this is...
Yeah, I think a lot of people struggle with being a little over anxious when starting a session, because that happens often. I talk to a lot of people and they're just like, yeah,
I have no idea
same
why.
issue too. It's just like the rush of just finally getting to the poker table after a while, or not even after a while.
Dude, it could have been my second session in a day, and I feel the same way, and I don't understand it. And so so my therapist says, does knowing the why matter? No, just deal with it and fix it, and adjust in the current however it is you need to do, make it through type thing. So that's what I found that works. So basically, if you're sitting at the table with me in the first 30 minutes, I'm going to be the weak, tight knit. So that's me.
Uber knit. Until you hear that alarm.
Right, man. Game's on. So let's talk a little bit about vlogging, because obviously, everybody and their mother says they want to do it. There are approximately 2 million vloggers out there, and there are approximately a dozen that make it past the first 2 or 3 months because people realize, oh, wow, this is a lot more work and this is a lot harder than I really thought it was. And a lot of people say, hey, I want to do it and never actually start.
Yeah.
So how have you...
One thing, I find it really interesting where when I was a kid, everyone wanted to be a professional baseball player or like a professional athlete of some sort. That was the cool thing at the time. Now it seems like people growing up, and I'm watching all these Instagram pages start popping up where everyone wants to be like an influencer. That seems to be like the hyped up job, so to speak, now. For some reason, it's kind of interesting how to see that kind of transition, because it just seems a little more glorified now, just like these influencers on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff seems like super glorified nowadays.
So yeah, it's kind of funny, seeing as I actually run a YouTube channel and podcast for a living, but I'm an old man. I'm 45. And this is something I never planned on doing over on Heavy Cardboard. And I went about it because I found that there is a niche being not covered, and I thought I could do it. And I was like, and I did it as a hobby. I did it for fun. I never intended to do this full time. So I think a lot of people go about it the wrong way. They go about it for the wrong reasons. Oh, I want to, get free stuff, or I want to make money, or I want to...
Right.
Do it because you're passionate about it, or else it's never going to last.
Oh, never. Literally never. A lot of people nowadays at least want to do it for the money because they see how successful it can be, but they don't know, you don't make any money for the first while, and you're putting in work.
Yeah. How long does it take you to do a vlog?
Nowadays, in terms of editing, probably 4 to 5 hours of video, from start to finish.
And how long are the videos?
Not horrible. 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, give or take, something like that.
And the reason I point that, I know the answers to these, but think about that. That's 4 or 5 hours of work for 15 minutes of actual footage, of actual vlog.
Yeah. And especially when you start, there's no money in that at all.
Oh God,
it's
no.
I'm starting. It's funny because I'm starting a golf channel now, similar to what I'm doing with poker, because I'm just getting into golf. I like making videos. Those videos take literally so long, sometimes 7, 8, 10 hours for a 10-minute video, and I'm getting the same starting point where it's the first few videos I'm gonna get 50 views, 100 views max, and that's just because I have this poker channel right now. But if I didn't have the poker channel, it would get 3, 10 views, and it would just be so disheartening to put in 10 hours of time, get no views on YouTube. But that's just kind of how you have to start up. You got to start somewhere and grind.
And you have to be passionate about it, right?
Yeah, you got to keep on doing it for a year down the line, and maybe things will start popping off. But
do it because you want to do it. That's why I started this channel, is because not because I'm going to try and compete with, you know, the Neemies, the Jamins, the Brads, the, you know, Vibes, all those folks. I just want to do this because I want to do this. And it's something that, you know, I'm tired of. I watch you, I watch all these, you know, vloggers out there, and I'm like, I can do that. Okay, then get off your ass and actually do it. But you got to put in the work to be able to do it. So the biggest question a lot of people have is, how do you record hands at the table? Both, you know, whenever you can video, because at Encore you can't record video, but at Boston Billiards you can. So how do you do that? How do you not give away that you have a decent hand? And then how do you take notes? Because that has got to be the biggest question that 99.9% of people have when watching vlogs, I imagine.
Yeah. It's the most simple answer ever. You have a phone. I have an iPhone 11. I got this because the camera is amazing. This is literally, the camera on this phone is better than the other camera that I paid $700 for, which is absurd. So super easy. Put this on the phone. Put this on the table. Click record, and that's it.
Well, hold on. No, see, again, this is the thing that I think you guys that do this a lot, that vlog, and you know, you take this for granted. Oh, you just put it on there and you hit record. Are you literally recording your 9-deuce offsuit that you're folding, or are you only recording hands that you're going to play? And if so, doesn't that kind of convey some amount of information? How do you do that? That's
yeah. So I found out now. So I'll start recording. So basically, I'll have you have one hand looking at the cards to flip them over, but I always bring the cards up to the camera so I can actually capture it. If it's good, I'll use my other thumb just to click the record button. Then it starts from there. But I'll always have the thumb in that position, and sometimes I'll like fake it and like and move my left thumb if it's a shit hand. Let's say like I'm on the button and then action's still going on. I'll look at like 6-3 offsuit or something like that. I'll click this like in the middle of the screen or wherever just to make it look like I'm recording, because I gotta like mix it up. Because some people will like will kind of catch on to that, but
right, sure,
kind of like geek them out. I always have this thumb in the position to record if I need to, but if it's bad, you just fold it. If it's good, you just hit the record button. You show the cards up on the screen, and then you can go from there. Before I was doing it, I was literally pressing record while the dealer was dealing out the cards, and I would just have like a million like 15-second clips of me showing, oh, this is trash, fold, gotta go back to my phone, delete this now, take up so much storage. So now if it's like a good hand, playable hand, I'll start recording when I see the card themselves.
Okay, so you're basically faking out everybody with your phone on whether or not you're actually recording or not. And you just put it in the same position after you're done.
Phone's always there. Yep,
okay.
Phone's always there. The same position every single time. That's one way to kind of mix things up. Like I'll try to deke people out. Like if they think they know, I'm like, you don't know. I'll make it look like I'm gonna bet. They like limp in or something like that, and I'm like, oh, folding this trash. What are you doing here?
All right. Yeah. So if after that, then, because even in a 4-hour session, you're not going to remember every hand that you played and that you want to vlog. Are you taking notes? Is that notes on your camera or notes on your phone, a written notebook? Like, how is it you're doing that?
Yeah, I just go to the notes section on my phone and I just start furiously typing away before I can get all the notes in before the next hand's dealt.
So okay, so shorthand wise, what information are you typing? And I
have everything that I need to record the video. It's literally just like a note. It's just I literally am able to like read it off. So it's just so here I can read one off. So this is what I'm. This is one example.
That's one hand.
Let's see.
Yeah.
The bottom was because there was a lot of typing at the bottom because I was bluffing on the river, and I was just like, this guy tanks. I bluffed into 2 people on the river, both players tank folded, and I was like, what a spot with having both players tank. But yeah, I have the holding, the position, and then I have the pre-flop action, and then the flop is just the flop here was 8-9 deuce rainbow, and then the action that I did. So they checked, I bet, they called. Then the turn, what it was, river, what it was, and then like some analysis. If I'm like thinking through something, then I'll try to type that in real quickly, so at least I can remember, because I won't really remember what I was thinking that exact moment unless it's like a huge hand, because I record these like a few days after the fact. So yeah, so that's one example of a hand there.
So have you found that it takes you out of the awareness of what's going on at the poker table?
Probably for the next hand or two after that, while I'm typing all that out. But after that, then I'm locked in again.
Okay.
But I just have to record all of that, and then we're back in.
All right. Which do you enjoy more, playing poker or vlogging?
I love, not really the vlogging part, but I love content creation. So I'm really focused on the YouTube side of things, where I think it's super scalable. Like, poker's fun. I honestly got into poker because it was a way to kind of substitute for the lack of competition. Like, in high school, I played a bunch of sports, and that was my way to like get the competitive side out of me. And then I had like a few years where I had nothing to do. Then poker came along. You can play against other people. I love just to compete on whatever it is as like a naturally competitive person. So I love poker for the competition, and then also it helped making money along the way. But mainly the YouTube side is what I'm more focused on, starting a lot of different channels and experimenting with different things. Because I like the idea of, look, you can just upload a video and then that's just going to be there forever. Someone who wants to watch it a year down the line, they can, and then I get a very small amount of like ad revenue from that. So,
and it is very,
way,
very small. It's funny how people think that until you're getting millions of views.
Yeah. But if you do it right and you get 1 million views,
well, win a bracelet. There's that. So, all right. So obviously, you and I, small stakes grinders, whatever, 1-2, 2-5. Let's talk tournaments, because I hate tournaments. I don't like them. I don't enjoy them. You can't win a bracelet if you don't play in a bracelet event type thing, but just never been my thing. I don't like short stack poker. I don't like the idea of playing all day and having nothing to show for it, not being able to leave when you want to leave, and the whole 9 yards.
I would have agreed with you like 3 months ago.
Well, so what changed? Okay, so we'll work up to the bracelet stuff, but what changed? Why did you, what interests you about tournaments?
Honestly, so I was grinding. I think the first time I ever like thought about playing tournaments was when Encore was like halfway through. But when I say halfway through, it was like they introduced tournaments like in the winter time, and then the end, I would say, is when Corona hit. So like halfway through that time, I was like, okay, there's a lot of buzz about tournaments. I'm getting really tired and bored of the 1-3 table. We'll just try to take some shots. They had some dailies. I wanted to mess around, see how they go. They seemed super friendly and fun just to mix it up on the vlogs. So I figured I'd do that. It's a different change of pace. We'll try that.
Keep it fresh for you, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right.
The video, sure, too, but mainly for me. So I tried it, played a few dailies. I think I played one of the larger ones with like a $600 buy-in, and then it was a multi-day tournament, and then I got to day 2, which was a rush. First ever, I think it was one of my first ever. I've only had 2 live cashes, and that was, I think, the first or second one. I min cashed, unfortunately, but being the anticipation that whole night where I was literally freaking out because I didn't know what I was doing. I was going into the tournament with 13, 14 big blinds, and then I asked people on my Instagram to be like, any tips? Because I don't know what I'm doing. Like, what's going on here? Super excited, obviously, but I just didn't know what I was doing. And then I had a few people message me and give me a lot of help. So, Sean, if you're watching this, huge shout out to you for staying up all night and messaging me about it. But he gave me some like tournament strategy, gave me some push-full charts, and I was like, okay, we'll try. I'll try not to screw this up, but I know I'm jamming. But the whole build-up of walking into day 2, knowing that, one, I already made the money, and then I'm like kind of free-rolling-ish because I was such a short stack. Was that, I mean, I don't know, that was really cool just to like have the anticipation of maybe running deep. And then there's no better feeling than running deep in a poker tournament because you're just like, oh, like the money up top is amazing. So that really kind of got me interested into it. Then everything shut down, and then everything moved to online, and I played. That was my real introduction to playing more online tournaments. The first 3 weeks, I think, of quarantine, I would spend like 10 hours plus grinding online tournaments and just staring at my computer screen with like 5, 6 different tables. I didn't know what I was doing. I was losing a lot, like losing a lot. And then all of a sudden I was playing on one of the apps, a $70 freeze out tournament. Then I hit second place there for a cool, I think 18,000. So that was like a nice bump that I was never expecting. So that was really cool to win. Well, I was heads up. I blew it. I had a chip lead and whatever. But placed second there. That was my first time ever playing heads up at all. Like I had no idea what I was doing. And then, so that really kind of got me into like the tournament grind. And after like a month of really grinding out like every single day, just like that was all I was doing, waking up, tournaments, going to bed at like 4 or 5 a.m. playing some sort of tournament. Yeah, that was a wild time. But then I don't know. I guess I kind of got sick of it after you do that for like a month straight. You kind of get sick of doing that. But yeah, then I decided some live poker was coming back, transitioned from like multi-tabling all these tournaments to go into live cash, and then opportunity came up where a good weekend of WSOP came. Make the drive 5 hours down there.
All right, so all right, let's unpack that a little bit. So you tell your mom you're going to the Cape.
Yeah.
And you drove down to Jersey.
Yeah.
And so you hooked up an Airbnb, decided not to do the Whole Foods parking lot.
I did. I couldn't do that. I don't think I could have made that drive back and forth.
So you set up an Airbnb by yourself, right?
Yep.
All right, and then
you can't play with another person. You have to be like, if I was going to play one of those WSOP tournaments, they would have to use a hotspot because you can't have two people with the same IP address in the.
Really interesting.
Yeah, so like I just had to be by myself in the Airbnb.
Okay. So
the expectation there was to like lose 4 buy-ins, like $2,000 give or take. At least have some fun streaming, because I think that would have mixed up the content. Just have something new, have a fun experience, just to play in a WSOP event, because my goal was to play this summer, go to Vegas, play in a few, vlog them, see how they go.
Mm-hmm.
But once that got shut down, then Jersey's fairly close, quick drive, not too bad. And yeah, expectation was to put on an entertaining stream and just try something new.
So, all right, so take it from there. How did that happen, dude? Like, because let's face it, I mean, you're even newer to tournament poker than you are to cash games.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, I don't want to diminish it, but how did you luck box your way into this? Seriously. All right, so go through it, because you decided to live stream it. This is event 26, I think it was,
yep.
Right? All right, yep. So you go in with zero expectations.
Oh, absolutely. That was my last day. That was supposed to be my last day. So I live streamed event 24, 25, 26.
All right.
24, I got 2 buy-ins in, punted them, nothing significant at all. But I did end up cashing another random tournament that same night, that first night I was down in New Jersey. So that was cool to min cash like a $200 buy-in. So I was still like playing like 3 tournaments at the same time for some reason, because if you're going to make the drive up to New Jersey,
you might as well get your money's worth. Sure.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
So I at least min cashed 1 tournament, which was cool, I guess. And then next day I played the event 25. I was like playing 3 tables once again. I busted that one in like 30 minutes or something really dumb. And then I didn't have enough money in the account to rebuy again, because I already spent all the other funds playing the other tournaments, unfortunately. So I wasn't able to like get more money in the same time, because you only had like 30 seconds to load back on and rebuy if you wanted to. After that 30 seconds, you just can't buy in again. That was really disappointing. I was like, the whole point of it was to play these tournaments, and I can't even buy in again. So whatever, I saved $500 there. At least that was like the bright side of things. And then my last night, or supposedly my last night, was to play event number 26. I was warming up in like the other 2 tournaments. I was surprisingly, in my stand, I was playing really well in those first 2 tournaments before I bought into the WSOP bracelet one. and I busted those two from like suckouts and bad beats, unfortunately. But I thought like the quality of play was like slowly getting better. So I figured like I was still playing this bracelet event while I busted. And I was like, all right, we're from 3-1. Wish us luck. At least we still have the main one that we actually care about. So I don't know. There was like some spots where I guess we'll backtrack because this I thought was like something I still remember to this day. So I woke up that morning and I looked at Sulfur Wise videos, and Matt Berkey just finished streaming 2 hours before I woke up. I woke up at like 9. He stopped streaming at 7 a.m.
Yeah, I actually was
what?
watching a couple of his streams when he made back-to-back final tables. Yeah.
And I was like, what? The final tip, he finished top 5, and that ended at 7 a.m. And I was like, this is going to be, like, if we ever make a dream run, like, this is going to be a late night. So I was watching that, and I was watching some of his highlights, and he was doing some, like, unorthodox things from my experience where I, like, didn't know. Like, tournament's totally different. So he was, like, 3-betting King 7 suited in position, stuff like that, and, like, bluffing a lot with these suited cards that I never thought were playable. So I was like, okay, if he's doing it, then I guess that's part of the strategy, and I'll try to like find some spots to do that as well.
But the difference is he knows why he's doing it.
Yeah, exactly. 1,000,000%. But I didn't know that. I was like, if he's doing it, then sure, I'll try it out. Maybe if I find a spot to do that in, absolutely. So that's all I really remember. Was like late night, top 5, ended at 7 a.m. And then he's doing all this stuff with King 7 and like 3-betting 6-3 suited from the small blind, stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool.
Good advice. All right, let's try it. Thanks, Berkey. Yeah. All right.
Exactly. So then I tried to incorporate it. Like I said, like if I see something that if he's doing it, then I should at least try to experiment with it. So then I remember these, like, so I was playing the tournament. I was really on the fringe, I think. Like once we made the money, I was like bottom third of the stack, I guess, in terms of stack sizes. Then I ran super hot. I had like 4 or 5 hands in a row, it seemed like, where it started where I was in the big blind, I pick up Jack 8 offsuit, a guy jams for 1.5 bigs. It folds to me, and I'm like, okay.
Right, half a big, yeah, all right, yeah, I'm in.
Like,
right.
I wasn't even like a big stack. It was like, I guess I have to. He flops top 2 pair. I go runner straight. So we bust him out, and it's like, okay, that's cool. Then pick up like jacks after that, win a big hand, then pick up ace king, win a big hand, and then ace king again, win a big hand, then jacks again. It was a crazy like succession of hands, where I ended up being a big stack, and I was like top 5 in chips with like 200 people left. I was like, I remember I took the Instagram story. I was like, what's going on here? I don't know, but I'm a really big stack. Like, how can I punt this off? And then another hand happened where I had King 8 suited. I remember this specifically because I thought like, all right, we're gonna try this out. So
channeling your inner Berkey.
Yes, this is a Berkey hand. I give him full credit for that. King 8 suited, and someone opens from late. Button calls, who's a short stack. And here he opened the 2 bigs. Like, all right, I'll put in the extra big blind. Flop gives me a gutter and backdoor flush draw. It was like rainbow flop, but it was like 6-5-7, but not 6-5-7, 4-5-7, 4-6-7 actually. So I had a gutter with the 5 and then backdoor hearts. Action ends up checking to the button player. The pre-flop raiser checked. He like bets 1/3 of his stack. Action up to me is like, this is a good flop. I feel like Berkey would check jam here. So I went for it. I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like this is a good spot to go for it. So I went for it, pre-flop raiser folds, and then the button folds with 2/3 of his stack left. He got it through. That was like a significant hand that I thought like, all right, that worked out. I don't know why, like it was better for my range, I guess. I don't know, but that was a Berkey hand for sure, because if he's going to do it, I feel like he could have done the same thing in that spot. He has all the reasoning behind it. I don't have any of the reasoning behind it, but
just felt like the right thing to do.
I don't know.
I appreciate how candid you're being. Like, look, and this is how you are on your vlogs as well. Like, look, I'm bored. That's why.
If just, I don't know, something just said like, you should do this. Like inside, I don't know, like some sort of poke. Like I have some poker instincts where like sometimes I know I feel like that's the right play, so I just took a shot at it. Went for it. I had a big enough stack to do that too, so I was like, oh, go for the gutter ball maybe.
And so after you take that down,
then we just did really well after that. I think I navigated up until the final table really well. I don't think I necessarily luck boxed anything up until then, but like I picked up kings like 4 or 5 times. They all held for
that
big
helps.
pots.
That helps.
For big pots too. I flopped a few sets, so that was really nice. For
Also
big
helps.
pots. Yeah, those are what you need to make it to the final table. And then I just had like a decent enough stack, and then when you make it to the final table, like that was when the real luck boxing started to happen.
But hold on, before we get there, how are you feeling at that point? I mean, honestly, like, I mean, it's late. You've been doing this for hours and hours and about what time was it when the final table started?
It was a really short final table. I think so. It was probably what it ended at 6. So it started around 5.
Okay.
4:30 to 5. It was a short final table.
So were you super amped? Were you dragging? What was it?
I was usually I'd be like dead asleep, but I was up. The stream was actually so another thing I never mentioned. The whole time the stream was super helpful. The chat, I mean. So the numbers kept increasing. It was really cool. There was a lot of support coming in from specific people who were donating, and they're just like midway through the stream, when I was playing the tournament, like people would just be like, "Here's $50, give away." So I was selling these Rampage Poker chips for like $5 if you donated, like $5 to the stream. So then people would donate. Here's $50, give away 10 random chips to people. So I would like just be staring to my right, looking at the chat, and be like, "All right, so like this name, let's just call out 10 random names. All right, you guys win. Oh, I have a hand to play. All right." So I was staring at the chat more often than the tournament, and that would just go on for a while. Like that was a really good stream for me. I love the support, and then I got to a certain point where Jamie, who's in this chat, he just texted me, "You should stop that because you're getting to a significant point in the tournament." It's like 40 people left. I was like top 5 in chips or something like that. And he's like, "This is significant. You should
focus on
focus more on the tournament." Like, all right, yeah, well, it's good advice. Thanks for that. So shout out to you, Jamie. But yeah, that was really cool. But the chat was just getting that instantaneous feedback, like I've always said in the beginning. The feedback that I got every time I would make a dumb play or something, like I'd know 5 minutes later because I was on a delay, but I would know instantaneously. All right, we won't just flat call with ace-deuce suited in middle position. That happened more than once. Now I know, but I lost both of those hands. Didn't need to lose chips, I guess, and that was, I guess, a bad play. But every time I did something bad, I'd know immediately. And then also, whenever like a crusher or a pro would be on my table, they'd just be like, "Hey, this player is like really good. Look up his name on Hen Mob or whatever." And I'd be like,
so the chat was helping you out with that.
Yeah, that was huge. Like, oh, he has 600K in live earnings. Okay. Oh, this guy has 1.8 mil. Sweet.
All right.
Like, I have 2,200. Get off my level, guys.
All right. So you make it to the final table. So were you? So you're pretty focused. You're pretty amped up though. A little surreal.
Yeah, it didn't hit me until like I never thought I was gonna win it until we went to like top 12, I think. Then it was like odds are kind of not in my favor, but I have like a decent chance. I have a big stack, like second in chips the whole time. There's a chance that this could happen. So it never like kicked in that I could have won until like super late into it. Then we make the final table, and I'm like, anything can happen in a final table. And I was second in chips going into that, and I was just trying to survive. Really didn't know how to navigate stuff. And then the first significant hand comes, an early position player jams 1.7 mil, and I was sitting with 10 mil at the time.
And what are the blinds at that point?
He jammed less than 10 bigs. I think it was like 8 bigs or something like that. And I was sitting with 8 mil. He jams 1.7. I have ace-8 suited in the cutoff. Well, like this is like not the worst opportunity to, I don't know. Like, shrug call. Okay, click the button. It's really easy when you click the button. You don't actually have to put 1.7 mil in there. You just click the call, and it goes from there. Folds to the big blind. He has like 2.4 mil. He tanks, then rejams. Now you feel. I start seeing.
Now you feel stupid. You're like, great, awesome. That's
Now I'm like, now I know this is bad. But
mistakes have been made.
Yeah, it was like an extra 3 big blinds. Couldn't fold there. We make the call. up against ace king and up against pocket kings
With ace-8 suited.
with ace-8 suited. So you're about as dead as you could be. The flop was not helpful for us either. We had absolutely nothing. It was like queen 10-6 or something.
With the backdoor draw.
One diamond though, that was pretty big.
Hey, you know, it's funny, you know, whenever you see a poker hand and, you know, hey, I got backdoor draws, I got equity, yeah, it could happen.
I was like, I need some bullshit. Like, come on. Come on, WSOP. Keep the dream alive. Like even if I didn't win that one when I shouldn't have, like I still was gonna be fine in terms of chips. Certainly would have given, I think the guy with kings was like the best player at the table or something like that. I don't know. But he was a crusher. I knew that after the fact. So he probably could have done some damage with the triple up. But,
so what ended up happening in that hand?
The turn was a diamond, so there's 2 diamonds out there. So we did improve to a legitimate draw. Needed some bullshit. River.
Bink.
Last diamond. There we go.
Easy game.
Freaked out. Knocked 2 people. Went from 9 to 7, and I now have the chip lead. That's what you're looking for. Just runner diamonds.
Then there were, I think, 2 other significant hands after that, right? The
Yeah.
Queen Jack hand.
Yeah. So there's a Queen Jack hand and then like Aces hand. I don't know which one came before.
Okay,
but
all right. So
Queen Jack was blind versus blind. He limped, I think, or something happened. I don't know. It was blind versus blind. We go heads up. He was a super short stack. The flop was Ace King Jack, 2 diamonds out there. I have Queen Jack off. He checks at me. I'm in the big blind. He has a pot size bet left compared to he had a pot size bet left, and I thought like I don't know what to do. I have a pair. I have a gutter. I don't
so
know why
even
I'm
if he
jamming.
calls, I'm probably not dead. I'm live.
And I was like, I had such a huge stack. It was like totally fine. So we jammed, snap calls with the flopped straight with Queen 10.
Oops.
And he hit the 10 of diamonds too.
Oops.
Just like, oh, this is not good.
That was
And
terrible.
it happened so fast. It happened really, really fast. So just went runner diamonds again.
And bink.
And then he's gone. Like I don't. And looking back at the stream, I didn't react to it for some reason.
No, you didn't. And I remember seeing that, like, just total, like, I was like, did he miss it? Like,
I knew. I just didn't. I was like really locked in. I think that was like going into top 4. So like top 5, I was like just locked into it. I was like, I just want the bracelet. I don't care what happens. So like to a certain point, I stopped looking at the pay jumps. I just totally forgot. Because I specifically remember like I didn't know that I locked up 100 grand when we got to heads up, and then until after the fact, like second was like $102,000. That's crazy. But I like stopped caring about the pay jumps. I just wanted the bracelet. Super locked into it. I wanted the win so bad. So I don't know. I like diamond came. It was great. So that was a good time.
Right.
No complaints about that. And then we pick up like aces. I forget if that was top 4, top 6, or whatever, but another guy jams, aces hold, and then we get another knockout there.
so you get to heads up. That was quick.
It was a quick final table, super quick. People were just going. It was like an hour long. In
Well,
total.
I mean, when you bink runner flush twice to knock out, 3 people, it's amazing how quick that can go.
So fast, crazy.
So okay, give us the final hand then. I think this one was pretty standard, though, honestly.
Yeah, so I guess
maybe again, I don't play tournaments, so.
Yeah, the thing I'll say before was like, so there was a break before. It was like 2 hands after the break, then it was the actual hand. But before that, during the break, 5-minute break, went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and I could like think in my head like, I've played heads up before, and I blew it with the chip lead. I have 0 heads up strategy. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I just cannot fuck this up. If there was a time to not fuck something up, it is right now. In 5 minutes after this break, I have there's 45 people watching. It's for a legit bracelet. Like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Were you nervous, or was it just no? I'm not gonna screw this up.
I did not know. I just knew it was a big moment, and I washed my face, looked at myself. Don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this up.
Little pep talk.
Yeah, it was because like the other guy clearly knows what he's doing. Like I don't know who he was real time. After the fact, he was like a pro, I think. But yeah, I didn't know what I was doing, but I had the chip lead. Just I don't know what's going on, but let's pull it home somehow. And then we get into it. We fold two hands back and forth, and then I pick up pocket fours. Open on a larger side to like 3x. Why? I don't know why.
200, 400K. He's got 10 million. You cover. I remember that, right?
Yeah, so he had 10 or 11 or something like that, and then I opened a 1.2 mil. For some reason, I decided to 3x it. He tanks. He used all his time bank, ends up jamming it, and I'm like, if I'm gonna win, I'm gonna win through variance. I'm not winning with skill. Like I need to win this flip here. It was like just a call. You just kind of have to hope for the best.
So okay? So in that moment, you just assumed you were ahead, or flipping. I mean, that like he doesn't have a bigger pair than fours in that spot. You didn't think?
No, there was no. I was praying that I was praying for it to be a flip, but also I was like, if it's going to be a flip, I'm gonna have to win through this way because there's no way I'm winning it like
to outplay him. Right?
There's no way that I was outplaying someone. So it was like, this is a good time to go for it and just defend. Also, it's like, sure, he can be jamming fives and sixes. I don't think he's going to do that with sevens. He's trying to get more value with sevens, I think. At least like 3-bet smaller, I think, with sevens. So I was like, five or sixes, I don't know, whatever. I'm winning this with variance because it seemed a lot more likely that he had just 2 overs anyways. So we call, good flop. I was just like freaking out internally, like I couldn't say a single thing. Oh yeah, I was like, this could be it. This could be it. Come on, one time, let's hold with pocket fours. Great river with the 7.
Did you realize? Hold on, it's like you hit pause in that moment. Did you realize that you'd won when the 7 hit on the river, or did it take a second for you to be like, no, wait, I think I'm still good?
I think I was like, I think I knew. There might have been a slight delay where I had to look through the board again, but then, yes, no freaking way did that just happen to me there holding. Yeah, that was a good moment for sure. And I was in the Airbnb. I screamed once. It was like, that's all I had in me. Like, you're streaming for 10 hours, 6 a.m. It's loud at the top of my lungs, and then I realized, like, oh, wait, that I'm, like, in an Airbnb. There's, like, people below me that, like, live here and stuff. Whatever. I don't care. We're screaming at the top of our lungs, and there's that.
So, what was the win for? The bracelet, and how much?
164, something like that.
Okay. So what's the process then? Okay, walk us through. I'm not asking for details about the money, stuff like that, but what's the process now? Is it different than a normal cash out, or like you won a bracelet, dude?
Yeah. So I was kind of like, it was interesting because this was honestly another reason why I wanted to come here was because this was like the first time I could play like actual legit online poker before it's all those other apps and stuff. But here is like, I know it's legit, WSOP, legal, all that stuff. So I knew I was going to get the money, but it took them like 30 hours for it to hit the WSOP account, which was interesting. Because so for that whole day after that, it was weird because I just won so much money, but I didn't have enough in the account to play other events. So I had to deposit more money the next day after that so I could play the next bracelet event. I thought that was an interesting.
Were you nervous that you weren't actually going to get the money then? Like for that delay?
Yeah, like so I reached out. I emailed WSOP. I like messaged their Instagram account for some reason. I didn't know what I was on hold for like 2 hours, like trying to talk to someone just to like get some clarity. I was like, hey, I know this is real. This is all legit. Just what are the steps? I know there's like gonna be some delay to it, but like, how does this work and how do we get that ball rolling? Just I wanted to hear from someone.
Sure, like just a little reassurance here is all I'm asking for.
Yeah, never heard from someone. Reached out to Ryan DePaulo. He just told me his process. I was like, all right, fine, cool. So I got my account immediately, just like withdraw. So like they give you a bunch of different options. PayPal's an option for some reason.
That's a
But
big PayPal
it would be a big PayPal, yeah. But you can just do like a quick direct transfer
to your bank account or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And
Good.
so did anybody ever contact you, or did the money just show up and okay, cool, done? You won a tournament. Who cares?
Yeah, that's it. I think 2 days ago I just had like some award celebration through Skype. There's a quick like 5-minute thing where they're like, congrats to Ethan Yau. It was like a Poker Go related thing. So I don't know. They said that they had like the bracelet and all that stuff. So they'll mail that out to me sometime. I'll see it in a few weeks. Ryan DePaulo just got his.
That is so weird. Like you would think like this would be a big deal for them. Apparently not.
They just have an event every day, you know?
Oh,
it's
okay.
just like on to the next. I feel
All
like
right.
I see their point of view. But
All right.
yeah. When
So-
they're running an event every single day, I feel like this is a thing we have to get done. So let's get it done.
This might come across as a stupid question, but which is a bigger deal to you? The 164K or the bracelet?
Uh
That tells me it wasn't a
I
stupid
think-
question. All right.
Yeah, it's tough. So the money, it's two different things. Like, so the money is very nice. Obviously, it's a great cushion. The 164, not actually 164 post-tax.
Sure, of course.
So, whatever. Let's say 100. Like, that's a great cushion to have. So
Sure,
I'm
especially at
able to-
22 years old. Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it's not too shabby. So it's a great cushion to just do what I want to do. Like it gives me the freedom to just travel wherever I want to go, play poker, make the video, like continue to more focus on the videos now, and not have that stress of being like, I have to make enough money playing like 1-3 or maybe 2-5 to cover the Airbnb if I was to have like a week-long stay in LA or something like that. So that's really nice to have that cushion there. But then like the bracelet's just the dream. For like you said, like you started off this video with how like winning a bracelet is the dream for most poker players. Like it's a dream. It was a dream for me when I first started getting into it. I never like imagined it because I was like, I'm not going to be like a tournament player though. So how is this ever going to happen for me? I'm still not a tournament player, but I feel more obligated to play more tournaments now.
Why?
But,
Why do you feel obligated to play? I mean, you know that you're not a tournament player. You know you got ridiculously lucky. I'm not saying you didn't play well in spots, obviously, but
I did.
yeah. So, but why do you feel obligated to play tournaments then?
Because the next night I actually played well again in the tournament, at least for myself, and I was so close to running a deep stack. So I stayed the extra night in New Jersey to play another event. It was like a freeze out, and I was in the money, and then I would have gotten a top 3 stack with 200 players left if my kings held 3 ways against ace, king, and nines, but it didn't. And I thought, I was just like, I need this. I'm just so hungry for like the next bracelet. Although I don't have the skill for it, I still want it for some reason. It's like, I really want the next bracelet. So I'm super hungry for, it's just the competitive nature of me where I just want the next win. I don't know how that's going to come. I don't know how I'm going to get there if I don't actually like get a coach, learn, and actually study like pros do. But yeah, all I want to do is win the next bracelet. Now, I really wish I could go to like Mexico and play in the GG events because those seem like a lot of fun.
So do you want to do that? Do you want to take it that serious?
I don't know. It's like the other thing too, the other side, like I'm very focused on the content side. It's great content to stream and have a deep run and just have it broadcasted on YouTube and to have like anyone that wants to watch, they can watch and have that memory saved. I think that's awesome.
Oh, that's gonna, dude. You're gonna be 80 years old and thrilled that you have that you can show that to grandkids and stuff. Sure.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. So it's really good content if I could just stream it. So I think like right now, especially right now, it's a really unique opportunity where it can all be live and it's all fairly convenient because you don't have to travel to different places to play big events. You can just be at your house. If I lived in Mexico, it'd be great, but I don't. But yeah, it's a unique opportunity for everything to be online this year. So we'll see. I really do want to start playing more tournaments, but gotta like focus up and study. so I don't punt everything away.
So is that what you're planning on doing then? You say that you should, but are you going to?
I'm looking at next weekend. Right now I'm looking at next weekend to look at the GG events and see how logistically I can lie to my mother again. Because there's no way. No way.
Which I gotta ask, how did that conversation go? Or does she still have no clue?
Oh, she knows. Yeah, it wasn't a huge deal. So I told her, I was like, hey, like, wasn't at the Cape. I was in New Jersey to play that tournament. She was like upset the fact that I lied for the first few minutes and then got over it. So that was fine.
Hold on, no, you can't sell this short,
Okay.
man. So okay, you like go to your mom's house or you call her or whatever and be like, so mom, gotta tell you something. Are you sitting down? Like, how did that conversation go?
Okay,
man?
yeah. So I woke up in the morning after the fact when I won, and I just shot her a quick text. I was like, hey, just so you know, won X amount playing a tournament.
In a text. You did this in a text.
Oh yes, because I knew she was gonna ask and she was gonna like call. Yeah, this was gonna be a whole conversation I didn't want to have at the time.
Okay, all right.
So the first thing she asked was, "Are you in New Jersey?" Because she knew that I wanted to go to New Jersey this specific weekend because to play this poker event. So she like already knew ahead of time. She freaked out before. She's like, "No, we don't want to leave the state, or whatever." Because I still live with her. It really helps out with like not having to pay rent and stuff. So I still live at home, which is nice.
Especially in the Boston area.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely insane. The prices up here. But so I told her that. She was very much against it. And then I was like, okay, well, just conveniently another trip came about.
Oh, well, going to the, and she bid it. or did she know? Did she know you were?
I have no idea what was really in her head, but I feel like she was at least a little suspicious because like when I was driving down, she texted me. She's like, "So what's like the address of this place?" I was like, "All right, I'm still like halfway through New Jersey. Let's just go to Google Maps, find an address of like some random house in the Cape, and like I'm here." So I made up that whole story with her.
You weren't worried like mom was gonna come and check on you?
She's crazy, but not that crazy.
Okay, all right. So you text her, "Hey Ma, I won $164,000. Just want to let you know."
Yeah, and the first thing she asked, "Are you in New Jersey?"
Not congrats, not that's amazing, not just are you in New Jersey?
Yeah, it's one of those Asian things, very traditional Asian parent. The whole congratulations is kind of out of the dialogue. So first thing she asked, "Are you in New Jersey?" I was like, "Nope." Second thing she says is not to waste it or spend it all or lose it all, and not to get robbed. And I was like, okay. Sweet.
That practicality is important. I understand that. That's good. That's good advice from mom. All right.
End of convo there. I was like, all right, we don't have to go into this right now. I'll see you in a few days. So
you get home. Come on. I mean, how did the actual breaking it?
I get home, told her, I was like, hey, just as a heads up, I was actually in New Jersey instead of the Cape. And she was like, what? Super surprised. I guess she didn't really know. I guess she bid it. I guess she believed me when I sent her an address of where I was at, supposedly at.
Way to burn that bridge, Ethan.
Yep.
All right.
The trust has gone down just a tad bit. But I told her where I actually was. She was like upset for a little bit. And I was like, I just got to do it. You got to do what you got to do. And then that was, very anticlimactic. There's not like a cool story, but she got over it in a few minutes and then everything was normal now. But now I'm really, I'm just itching to get to Mexico.
Oh, dude, as somebody who, I have poker rooms 25 minutes away available for me to go play poker. But given my life situation, I have a girlfriend, she has kids, and then I have with the other channel at Heavy Cardboard, it's my game group is willing to start coming together, getting together in person again for the first time in what feels like forever. And a number of them are older. And so I don't want to expose myself to that, which then, how it...
Right.
And
exactly.
So, but it's killing me.
It's tough. Yeah, like I go to the casino like every other day or like 3 times a week, and it's like my grandparents will hit me up. I'm like, I can't see you. It's so unfortunate. Like you got to just be super like cautious about it. And it's like I haven't seen my grandparents in forever. and I still can't see you now because this is like just like it's super serious, and it's like trying to balance the opportunity and also just trying to be on the safer side with things.
Right. I mean, everybody wears masks in Boston Billiards and a whole 9 yards. But even so, come on.
Yeah.
Let's face it. Poker chips and poker
You're
players.
at the poker table. It's literally the worst place to be at. With this
Literally, yeah,
pandemic going on.
the worst place you could imagine. But it's killing me to not go play. And so I will say, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Like, I watch your vlogs. Jamin just put out a new, like, little cartoon vlog.
I loved it.
That was fantastic. And it's funny. He was like, I don't know. I'll go. And then he went and he was like, oh, God, no, get me out of here.
Awful.
I saw a zombie. Right.
Yeah.
And so he was like, you know what? I can wait. It's not a big deal. But for me, I mean, this is such my passion and such my outlet that it's killing me to not be able to go and play right now, but trying to be responsible. But there's a part of me that's jealous of you, and I'm also grateful that you're putting out content, because then folks like me and other folks can watch it. But I also feel kind of guilty because you're going, and I mean, you're 22. You're probably going to be fine, even if you were to get sick. But I still feel kind of, I don't know, a little guilty indulging in that. But I'm not asking you to put it out there, so that's how I justify it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I justify it like no one else is making videos right now. So I justify it where like I'm the only person really like putting out consistent content right now in the poker sphere of like vlogging. So at the very least, I'm just trying to take advantage of the opportunity that I have right now. Although, yeah, huge risk. Really never recommended it to anyone that's like playing, but it's there. Opportunity can certainly just justify it. Trying to justify it with taking a plane out to Mexico and doing that thing.
Because that's a good life decision, Ethan. Honestly, I want to go to Mexico, but I just want to go to Mexico City to eat the tacos. That's on a bucket list thing for me. But yeah, I hear you. So yeah, so what are your plans now? Obviously, you're talking about playing more tournaments, going to Mexico, doing all that. But as far as cash games, now all of a sudden, we go from being a 1-3 grinder to 5-10.
I'll take my shots at 5-10. Like I said, I played 5-10 earlier this week, and that table was not the table for me to play at.
Why?
So I had that the Chase player who is also a bracelet winner. Like he just crushes like the 10-20 Encore game. I think like every time I went to Encore and he was there, people would be like, "Do you know this guy? Because he's good. He's always like crushing 5-10 or higher. He's like a big beard and everything. So like he's well known as like a big time crusher in New England. So he was at the table. Then like a few other like 5-10 billiard regs were there, and I was just the worst player there. Luckily, luck boxed a bunch, which is nice. Chase 3, one specific hand that will be in a vlog. Chase 3-bet me. I had pocket fours. Why would I ever fold pocket fours?
I mean, forever it's
like,
going to be. I mean, yeah.
It's like you should know. So I call, flop, 10-4-10. So I'm not losing with this hand. You should know better. Just fold and I have this hand. So luck boxed that one, that whole session there. So I came out like positive, but I'll just try to pick my spots when playing 5-10 or higher, because I think people really like the videos. Like obviously they like watching me squirm at big pots. Like I still squirm at big pots because it's massive. Although it's a 1K cap at 5-10, stacks will go in, and it's still like nerve-wracking when you're playing a 2K pot, 2K plus pot. So yeah, I'll definitely pick my spots playing 5-10. More 2-5, definitely. I'm just trying to see if I can be profitable at those stakes, because I just don't know if I am here yet. And like my history has shown that I am very bad at 2-5. But we've got a hole to climb out of, and I'd like to make that super red number maybe in the black.
All right. What app do you use to track your sessions?
Poker Income.
Okay. Because there's a bunch of them out there, and I'm always curious what people are using.
There's like two main ones I feel like. There's Poker Income and like Poker Tracker. Tracker is has like the cool graphs and stuff, but Income's like super basic. white background. I don't know.
So
It gets the job done.
I used to use Poker Log, and I basically did the exact same thing that you did as far as a 1010K challenge. And I did that at a 1-3 game at Encore. It took me about 5-6 months or so, and I was
Okay.
able to do it. And then I went into Poker Log a couple weeks ago, and all my sessions are gone. That hurt. I'm not
Why
gonna
would
lie.
he do that?
I don't know, but they're gone. That hurt.
Oh, you can't. It can't be. All right, never use Poker Log.
Yeah, seriously. So that was a huge disappointment there. But what can you do? Hey, you know what? That's all pre-COVID. Now post-COVID, we'll start fresh.
Totally
I
different.
guess.
Yeah. now we're
And
going to
Robert
60.
asks, where do you feel more comfortable, playing tournament or cash games?
Definitely a lot more comfortable playing cash. 1-3 cash is kind of like my bread and butter, where I'm like super comfortable because that's just the game I played the most.
Right.
Tournaments, I want to get comfortable in tournaments. It's just like there's just all these a million different combos and scenarios of situations where I don't know what I'm doing half the time, and I'm just praying what I'm doing is the right move. Another thing I realized when I won the bracelet is every time I bluffed, it got through. Just was lucky enough to, like, for the other person to not have anything or not defend that time. Like, I don't really think I picked great bluffing spots sometimes, but they all got through each time. So yeah, definitely a lot more comfortable with cash.
Well, I mean, you know that if you don't work at it, you're not going to get better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you're in control of that ultimately, right?
Oh yeah. Apparently, the way I learn is by playing a lot. So I guess we're gonna have to keep playing a lot more tournaments.
Good stuff. One other question I had, and this goes back to talking about bigger games and deeper stacks and the whole 9 yards, because this is something that I find fascinating that it seems isn't really talked about a whole lot in the poker community. It's almost like a badge of shame for some folks. And I see a tendency in your vlogs, and tell me if this is true or not, that there are spots where you know you should be doing X, Y, or Z. After you've built up a big enough, a pretty healthy stack, and you're fairly deep with villain, with an opponent, I've noticed that, oh, this is definitely a three bet spot. I should be 3-betting here, this and that. But for whatever reason, I decided to call this and that. And the reason I wonder, or I guess this is a long, rambly way to ask a question, but is it that you're nervous as the stacks get deeper to play these big pots, even though you know a certain play should be the right thing, you just get into a bit of protection mode and you're not playing the way you should, even though you know you should, because let's face it, it's real money and this matters. And I think that does affect, it absolutely happens to me. And when that starts happening to me, I know it's time for me to rack up. Because if I'm not willing to take those risks and I'm going into protection, then shame on me, I need to go.
Right. Yeah. I think that's definitely true for sure, especially when the stacks get deeper.
Even in a 1-3 game,
much,
I mean, if you're sitting at 1,000 effective, all of a sudden
it's comfortable usually in a 1-3 game, because if you're sitting with 1,000 and then everyone else just has 300, it's like, all right,
yeah. But
you know?
I'm saying when it's 1,000 effective, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'll put that in like the tournament sense, where it's like, where I've noticed it's easier to make those plays in tournaments because it's just chips. Where I will make that like 3-bet jam with King 8 suited with a gutter ball because I feel like that's the right play. Like, it was easier for me to click the jam button or the raise button as opposed to doing it in cash, because like you said, it is real money. And like, I guess you're risking like real money in these pots where you're not really sure. And I think that was a huge issue for me because, one, I never had a appropriate bankroll for whatever game I was playing for the most part. Now, yeah, I do.
Well, obviously, sure, right? Yeah.
So now I can make those plays, and I can actually, like, the last time I played, I actually pulled off a bluff like that because I was able to risk X amount to win the pot because that's the right play. It was like it was a $650 check raise in a spot where didn't have anything, but I felt like it was a marginal spot where he could fold. So that worked out. Like what you're saying is like, yeah, now that I actually have the appropriate bankroll to kind of take the swings and just play proper poker, or at least make the right move in that spot. Definitely like the money factor and how much of a bankroll you have definitely played like a huge factor into all those decisions.
Yeah, I think it's important for folks out there to hear this stuff, because you watch somebody like Mimi or Johnny Vibes or whatever, all these guys that, you know, or anyone else out there talking about, oh, I could, you know, do this, or a lot of times I should be doing this, but I chose to do that. And I can't help but wonder in the back of my head, well, if you know you should be, why aren't you? Now, obviously, you never do anything 100%. I understand that. But I always wonder that, you know, hey, if the game's good, you should never leave. All these, you know, pseudo rules that we're supposed to follow. But in the end, we're still human, and this is still real money. And some of these pots can get really big, and it takes a lot of heart to make some of these moves. And there are times you just get scared and don't have the oomph to be able to actually pull the trigger, even though you know you should be.
Yeah, exactly. Like playing, like it's like when I was playing Encore 1-3, it's like when I did that 1,000 to 10K bankroll challenge, like that was the money I had to do other stuff too. So it's like, if I'm gonna pull this bluff off, this really better work, or else like I'm just gonna have to eat at home for the next week and have my mother make some home cooked meals for me. So yeah, like it's like just having that cushion nowadays is really helpful. But before, yeah, I definitely see where I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with that one.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I guess once I get out there, I'll be seeing you at the. I imagine you're still going to play the 1-3 games when 2-5's not going, or the 5-10 big baller.
Yeah, I love 1-3. Can never get away. Boston Billiard 1-3 is interesting. It plays like 2-5 too, but
it does play bigger, which is nice. So that's cool. That
comfortable 1-3, I think, for me. The nice in between is really all I'm looking for.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, continue success, man. And it's surreal. I can't wait to see the bracelet. I'm looking forward to checking that out. I want to see this bracelet, man.
Yeah, you'll see that on social media everywhere. Once I get that bad boy.
That's cool.
Yeah, seeing that in person will be crazy.
Well, I'm happy for you. Continue success, and once I can get back out at the tables, then it'll be a lot of fun to be. It'll be fun to be able to vlog against you in a sense that.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Right,
yeah.
To be able to see both of our point of views in certain hands. I think that would. I mean, whenever you see, specifically like you see Brad or Nimi or anybody like that, or any other guys where they're both in the hand, and you can get multiple perspectives on that. Right. I think that's always fascinating. So I'm excited to do this, man. I'm chomping at the bit.
It was a lot of fun playing it before, but now there'll just be another added dynamic there. So
yeah, seriously. And then it goes levels. Well, is he just doing this for the vlog? Is he right?
We'll keep going to the meta game and keep climbing those tiers.
So good stuff. All right. So real quick, two last things. Favorite hand? Is it pocket fours or is it some other stupid hand?
Pocket fours is taking it right now. That's definitely my favorite hand by far. So much sentimental value, and I fought to boat against another bracelet winner. Ugh.
That's sick. Mine's Queen 9 suited. It was the first hand that I ever won online poker back in 2004. 2005, something like that. You were this big, but yeah, Queen 9 suited. It's a terrible hand. I won't always play it.
Gets you in trouble, but
yeah, whatever. We all have our pet hands, right? And so, where can folks find you and reach you and watch your stuff?
On YouTube, just Rampage Poker, and the main social media I use is Instagram. It's it's at Rampage Poker with 2 A's in the second A of Rampage, so 3 A's in total. I just don't have the domain for Rampage Poker.
RAMPAAGE.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Those are the two main things you can find me at. Thanks for having me on, Edward.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on, and I appreciate I mean, it's live, right? It happens. So, no, this is good stuff, man, and I think people will find it interesting that, you know, like, we're just a couple dudes who wanted to vlog and play poker, and yeah, I think it's interesting.
Hopefully you find a luck box run in the near future.
it requires you to be able to play those tournaments to have that happen. But hey, again, continued success unless you're playing against me. And yeah, congrats again, man. And I'll see you soon. All right.
Absolutely looking forward to it.
All right. And thanks everybody for watching. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff if you want. If not, don't. It's a free country. No worries.
Hit that like button. Helps
all right.
a ton.
There you go. All right. All right. Take care, everybody.